Hello everyone, for OneWrestling.com, this is Bill Apter. Welcome to Face, the Apter Chat, where we go all over the world. People in the other box, me in this box, and we're going all the way from my home in suburban Philadelphia to the wilds of New Jersey. Robbie.
We're really only one state away from each other.
That's true.
I could have came to your house and had a cup of coffee with you, and we could have done this face to face.
Anyone who knows me knows I only drink sparkling ice orange mango.
Anyone that knows me knows that I only drink protein shakes. I was lying about the coffee too.
What kind of protein shakes do you drink? Do you have a favorite brand?
There's protein in it, and it's growing my muscles. I'm drinking it.
Yeah, that's great. So it's been how many years have you actually done the protein shake, and was that always your favorite beverage?
I mean, protein shakes started for me when I was like 12, 13. I started lifting weights and working out early. I'm a small guy. I needed to start putting on muscle at an early age, and that's why I look the way I look now. 31, still looking jacked. You knew me when I was young, Bill, remember?
Yes, sure. I covered many of the, back when you were in IWF, and 3PW, I was the commissioner there for a little while.
And let's also not forget about Hardway Wrestling. You brought your buddy Johnny Storm. He was hanging out with you for the week, and I wrestled him there. He was over from England.
Yes, yeah, Johnny Storm and Jody Fleisch.
That's right. We're going way back.
That was, but two guys who were absolutely incredible. And through the years, what year did you actually start, Robbie?
I started pro wrestling in 2000, and my first ever match was actually on October 1st, 2000, which was my 17th birthday. What a birthday present.
Yeah, really. That's so like happy anniversary. You know,
we're right. Over 14 years.
We're right. That's right. But you're a very young veteran. In all the years that you've been around, from the Indies all the way through your terrific career thus far at TNA, what is the one thing that you've learned that you never really thought about when you were thinking about breaking into the business?
I think I just kind of learned as years went on. Granted, I've never been known for being a guy that does overly crazy things or anything, but when you first started and the veteran guys told you, less is more, and you don't got to try all these crazy moves and keep going to the top rope to risk injury. And, I'm just like, yeah, sure, you're right, man. And then this guy don't know what he's talking about. I'm always going to be able to do this stuff. I mean, 14 years in, now that I'm 31 years old, I'm starting to feel it in the gym, and while I'm wrestling, my body's slowly starting to catch up to me. So I think that's the one thing I've learned over time.
Are there guys now that, considering how long you've been in the business, are there younger guys now coming over like you did with some of the older guys? You used to ask advice. Are there younger guys now that come up to you at the matches and at conventions? Because I see you a lot of conventions there, and ask you to help fine-tune them.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone that has a good head on their shoulders knows that it's always good to ask someone more experienced, and to ask someone, if you're on a show with a guy that's wrestling on television, he obviously did something right. So I think if you're a smart guy, you're going to go up to him and say, hey, could you watch my match? Let me pick his brain a little bit to see what he thought, what I can improve on, like I did. But it's weird to me because I still feel like I'm new and 15 years old, but how I was always the youngest guy, now I'm one of the older guys. It's weird for me.
Yeah, so that must be quite humbling. So you're one of the smaller guys, but wrestling has now become. I mean, when you were growing up, and you were watching wrestling, wrestling was still the giants. It was still Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior and all these guys. But now wrestling is becoming a lot of the smaller guys, and that kind of fits what you do best.
I think it's about being TV presentable and just looking like an athlete and being fit. If you look the part, I think that's good enough. It doesn't necessarily matter so much about height and weight anymore. So yeah, lucky for me, it worked out because you're right, I'm not one of the biggest guys. So boom for Robbie E. 1 point.
So what if somebody comes over to you and says, hey, I want to be a pro wrestler. I see you did it. You're not a big guy. How do I break in? How can I do it? What do you advise?
You tell them to. I could give them a few tips on some good wrestling schools. They got to find a good wrestling school. But even beyond that, anyone can train to be a wrestler. It's, are you going to put the 24/7 in? Are you going to put everything in with the gym, the tanning, the practicing? Very important to have patience. It took me almost 10 years to make it to a national television level. For some guys, it can take that long or longer. Some guys don't have that. They think they're going to make it in a year, and they're going to give up. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have patience. You got to know that it's a lot of right place, right time. It could happen at any time.
And isn't it also You got to be yourself, because there are so many guys that I meet at a lot of the conventions that come over. I'm going to be a wrestler, and I'm going to be just like Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah, you got to be yourself. You got to find what you have that's different than what everyone else has. You don't want to be like anyone else. You want to be able to bring something to the table where someone says, wow, that guy has that. Like Robbie E has crazy hair. Nobody's got hair like him. You know, what do you have that nobody else has?
Did you, when you were first going to break in, did you want to be somebody else?
No, not really. I'm pretty crazy and in my own Robbie E world. Before that Rob Echoes world, I'm kind of my own wild person my whole life. So I kind of always did my own thing. And I always came up with different characters to do and stuff. So I was always trying to be the first of what I was.
Yeah, and you definitely are an original. Now, you and I, at a lot of places, discussed old school wrestling. And at one of the recent conventions, I was sitting there discussing Jim Cornette with Jim Cornette, James E. Cornette. And then I remembered, if I'm right, that you had told me when I gave you a list of guys, I said, if any of these guys from old school would have been able to manage you, you told me Jim Cornette. Why Jim Cornette?
I mean, I guess it was just the era I watched wrestling, but, well, not even that. I mean, Jim Cornette, in my opinion, is the best manager of all time. When you think of managers, you think of just dorky hamsters that you want to just choke them and get your hands on them. And when I think of that, Jim Cornette pops into your mind. The tennis racket, the glasses, the annoying suits, his voice. He was always there. So when I think back to managers during that era when there was a lot of male managers, I just think, he was the one that's most memorable. He was awesome to watch. He's still awesome to watch. And it's really crazy? Me and him actually never really – I've been at some conventions with him and stuff, but we've never really had the chance to speak. So I would definitely look forward to meeting and chatting with him.
Well, I know for a fact that you are booked on an incredible event that's coming up March 7th, 2015. Masters of the Ring are they're going to host a fan fest and a dinner for a tribute to James E. Cornette. And because they have heard so much through the grapevine what a big fan you are of Jim Cornette, you are booked at the Fan Expo and the tribute to Jim Cornette.
Yeah, I mean, when they asked me to be a part of it, when I heard the name Jim Cornette, I was all over it. A dinner, to give back and say thanks to a guy that did so much for wrestling, who's a great guy. Myself, I'm pretty sure a handful of other wrestlers.
Oh yeah, Harley Race is going to be there.
Yeah.
Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. So the URL is mastersofringentertainment.com, and that's where fans can go to be a part of this living legacy tribute to Jim Cornette. So it was okay with you that he used to whack opponents with that tennis racket?
Well, I think at an early age I kind of wanted to do the same thing. I actually kind of want to get my hands on one of those tennis rackets and maybe do the same thing he was doing.
Is that right?
And I mean, this show is going to be not just for us wrestlers that are fans of Jim Cornette, but it's going to be a huge opportunity for all the fans that get a chance to, give back to him and all the other great stars that are going to be there in March.
Oh, absolutely. And, I'm looking at the information, too, and I left out one of my dearest friends and one of the great trainers and wrestlers of all time, Dr. Tom Pritchard, will also be there. So that's going to be March 7th, 2015. Again, it's a tribute to Jim Cornette. Wrestling Fan Expo, Saturday, March 7th, 10 in the morning till 5 p.m. And after that will be the tribute to Jim Cornette. And again, it's mastersofringentertainment.com. So let's talk about The Amazing Race. For people who don't know about this, tell us what you've been doing. And you and Brooke Adams.
Myself and Knockout Brooke from Impact Wrestling. Yep,
and she is a knockout, by the way. Before she even knew you, she used to. She one night she was banging on. I was in a hotel, and she was banging on my door all night. Finally, I let her out. All right. I've used that on a few interviews, but you can use that. You can use that one. You can use that one. But yeah, she's a total knockout. So tell us how this came about and what the current status is.
I mean, just, it's pretty much, there's 11 teams that race around the world. Myself and Brooke were put in touch with the casting. They loved the idea of a dating professional wrestling couple, and the rest is history. You know, we had a huge interview with all the producers of it and everything in LA. They fell in love with us, and we were casted. And you know, we had some time off from TNA. They obviously love the idea. It's great exposure for them.
Absolutely.
Obviously, CBS is a huge station. You know, millions and millions and millions of people are watching weekly.
Yeah.
And, you know, now those fans that have fell in love with us from CBS with the wrestlers are going to tune into Impact Wrestling. So it's really great for everybody involved, and it's been one, you know, hell of a lifetime opportunity.
So let's talk about you and TNA Wrestling, the bromans. But one of the things that you did that so many wrestlers everywhere would just love to have the opportunity is you got in the ring and you wrestled the Great Muta. Tell us what that was like.
I mean, getting in the Great, you know, before he spit green mist in my face and all over my body, which I couldn't get out of my nails and my hair for a few days.
I see some. Look up. Let me just look in your nostrils there. It's still there.
Still have some.
That's not a booger, everybody. That's green mist from Muta.
But I mean, you know, it was great. You know, when I saw on the card Robbie versus the Great Muta, I thought, wow, I'm going to get in the ring with a guy I used to watch when I was a kid, a Japanese legend, probably the biggest Japanese wrestling star of all time. So, you know, it was cool, and now I get to say I was in the ring with him. And granted, he beat me in a short period of time, but hopefully there will be a next time. I'm pretty pumped. In a few weeks, I'll be headed to Japan to wrestle on his, I believe it's his 30th anniversary of being in pro wrestling show. So I'm happy to be a part of that in Tokyo. So I'm pumped for that, and I think, you know, even though he spit mist at me, I think Muta deep inside is a Robbie E fan.
Okay, that's great. Actually, maybe he'll spit the letters R-E.
Spell it out, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Kind of like the NWO used to spray paint on the backs. Yeah. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about, you know, people get on the internet just to get angry and get mad, and we don't do that here at the Apter Chat. What's the best part of being with TNA? Why is TNA so terrific?
I mean, TNA is so terrific. To me, it's the best organization in the world. Why? Well, for starters, my job is being a pro wrestler. I get paid to wrestle. They give me income where I make great money, where I get to say, hey, I wrestle, and that's my only job. So that's first and foremost, which was my goal when I started at 16 years old in pro wrestling. Right. And then beyond that, I mean, I'm on Spike TV every week. It's led me to other huge opportunities like The Amazing Race on CBS. We have the best locker room pretty much ever in pro wrestling. I mean, between Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy and Bobby Roode and Eric Young, the guys in our locker room, the talent is top notch. There's really no other place I'd want to work. You know, I'm happy every day, 24/7.
That's great.
My job is great, and my boss, Dixie Carter, the best boss in the world.
I was just going to say, tell us about your times with Dixie Carter. What is she really like?
Dixie Carter, besides the fact that she is beautiful in person, which I'm sure you know.
Yes.
She's just a great boss. She's approachable. You could talk to her, and she's super supportive. You know, taking time off to do The Amazing Race, was supportive for that. She knew it was a great opportunity. She's always been a fan of the bromans, myself and Jesse and Zima. And then she regularly checks in. Hey, how's the race going? I watched you this week. It was great. You know, she is the best. Yeah.
So tell us what your eventual goal is here. 31 years old. You're going to be wrestling for a long time yet.
31 years old, 14 years in. I'm a former X Division champion, television champion, and two-time tag champ in TNA. I think when I come back from the race, my goal is to slowly start heading toward the world title and to be a Grand Slam champion. I could be one of the few to claim that I've held every piece of gold in Impact Wrestling.
Okay, so looking into the future also, a lot of people say, you know, what are these guys going to do when they can't or they're just not booked to be in this business anymore? Your background, what was the second occupation had you not been able to become who you are in TNA?
Well, let's hope for the best, and I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be able to be a wrestler even when I'm 90 years old or have some role in wrestling, whether it's...
I hope I'm around. I hope I'm around to interview you back then.
You will be.
Yeah.
But whether it's a commentator or ring announcer, you know, I'd love to be involved some way to help younger guys as time goes on. But beyond that, before I was full-time wrestling, I had my bachelor's degree in health and physical education. I was a high school phys ed teacher. And then also I'm about 3/4 done for my master's for administration to be like a principal or athletic director. So I would probably go back into school systems. But again, I love where I'm at, and let's hope that doesn't have to happen.
Yeah. Where can people find you on social media?
My Twitter and Instagram are both Robbie E Impact. My official website is robbie-e.com, and then of course impactwrestling.com. You could check out my profile page there, and Friday nights tune in to The Amazing Race on CBS, and Wednesday nights tune in to Impact Wrestling on Spike TV.
Of course. So is there anything we didn't cover that you want to talk about?
I think we got it all, Bill. This was great. The Amazing Race, has taken over a big portion of my life in the past few months, and that's really, the main thing I want to get across. Hopefully everyone's watching it and checking it out and supporting #the wrestlers. Make sure you're tweeting us Friday nights during the show. We were the #1 trend in the world on the first episode. Let's get that going again.
So just one more time, it's mastersofringentertainment.com, and it's going to be an incredible, absolutely incredible event. Get your tickets early. Avoid the rush. You got to be there. So here's something I like to do. All right, I like to go back to the past. And if there's one guy, one of your heroes that you never wrestled in your career, and I said to you right now, we're going to do that match. It's going to be you against he, Sunday night at Madison Square Garden. Who would that guy be?
I don't want this to be an obvious answer, but I always watched him when I was a kid, and he's sitting right behind you. And his time in TNA, our paths did cross, but not physically. I think I'm going to have to go with Hulk Hogan, bro.
Hulk Hogan? Wow.
Yeah,
so let's do this. Robbie E. Sunday night at Madison Square Garden. Standing room only. Hulk Hogan defending the World Heavyweight Championship against you. He's watching. The people are watching. Why are you going to beat the Hulkster?
Well, it's standing room only because of Robbie E. and the Bromans, not because of Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
But here's how this whole thing started. Hulk Hogan was hitting up Robbie E. He was hitting up the Bromans. He wanted to be an honorary Broman. We declined his offer, and then he just got all sour on us, bro.
Well, wait a second. Is this why he always calls people bro?
Yeah. He calls people brother. We shortened it to bro and made it cool. Anywho, here's the deal. Tonight, Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, Robbie E, Broomania. It's going down, and I'm going to get the world title from him, and I'm going to add that to my collection. And it's going to be sweet to win gold from a guy who wanted to be me, and he couldn't be me. And I'm going to be a Grand Slam champion, because now, after tonight, I've held every title, Hulk. I've held every title, bro. You are going to made out to be a hamster, and it's going down. MSG. Boom.
Is there going to be Broman interference?
It's pro wrestling. Of course there's going to be Broman.
Of course. And what about, to add to your arsenal, how about the man who they're paying tribute to at mastersofentertainment.com, James E. Cornette, and that tennis racket? That might help you in your quest to win the world title.
Well, here's the deal. I've already put in a call to him, and the tennis racket is going to be in full effect because he could be a part of the Bromans, not the Hulkster.
Unbelievable. Robbie, one more time, social media, where can people get a hold of you?
Twitter, Instagram, at Robbie E Impact, official website, robbie-e.com, impactwrestling.com. You can check out my profile page. Friday night, CBS Amazing Race. Wednesday night, Spike TV, Impact Wrestling. I'm all over the place. I'm Robbie E, Bill.
All right, let's put your index finger right to the camera there, and we'll see you finish it off
at the matches, bro.
Yeah, we will. All right.